the gutter journalist you want to be. There's some leakage going on, but you're preying on it. It's the team you barrack for. Your conflict of interest here is considerable. Gutter journalism, muckraking trash, you're an embarrassment to what you do, mate.
I watched Nathan Buckley. I've never seen a more stunned look on a bloke's face.
I kept waiting for the real reason why he was so angry about all this, because none of that stacks up to me.
I'd be staggered if anyone thought that was a justified attack, and it was an attack.
Well, Lockie does. Well said, Bevo.
When Beveridge cited mental health as his area of concern, he had no regard for the well-being of the individual he was verbally assaulting, the professional denigration and the public humiliation he was inflicting. The fact that Beveridge is at tipping point makes me wonder what's really at play and where his attentions and energies are consumed. It would, I think, be fertile ground for the club psychologist.
This has been building for some time, I think, with Luke Beveridge. Now, this isn't an isolated incident. I don't think after a media conference he was quite scathing in the lead up to the grand final, and some were suggesting his comments were directed at me after I had some comments to say about Adam Treloar's body language, and they were bizarre, truly bizarre comments.
Some of the ridiculous commentary and insinuations around Adam was just so distasteful from people. Like, if you're going to fail at something, don't fail at trying to pull people down. You know, I just don't know how people can sleep next to people like that when they're so vindictive.
Yeah, he's got a real beef with the media, and it's to his own detriment.
I just don't know how that would resonate with the modern player. If I'm a 26-year-old on that list, I just think that's bizarre behaviour rather than, yeah, go get him, you tell him.
In one breath he's saying,
All we're doing is planning for a football game.
and you've got to be concerned about the mental health of its people, but on the other hand he's talking about revolutionists and talking about
Che Guevara, Rosa Luxemburg, Mahatma Gandhi, the atrocity of the Russian advance on Ukraine.
just not sure the strategy behind where he's at. And as I said, if the players aren't motivated to atone for what was a pretty dismal grand final performance in a holistic viewpoint in the second half, then I don't know what would motivate them.
The courtesy and the integrity and the ethical way to go about it has happened in the past. If you found something out, you'd ring Adrian Shed and say, look, I know this, just so you know that I know. And I know Sam Edmund does it. You know, I know many of you, Riley, I know you do it.
Sam, good morning.
A little bit too close to home when I was at home on the couch minding my own business last night, Gerard, and somehow managed to get mentioned in this.
Mike Sheehan taught me that at the last moment, you have to ring the people associated with the story. But you're talking larger stories where there is a right of reply and where there's scandal and context to be sought. Is round one selection to me feels like small beer. The way you run your business, how do you do it?
I've got an example of this going back only to last final series concerning the same club, the Western Bulldogs. Now, going into a preliminary final, we found out that Alex Keith was struggling with a hamstring injury. Now, I rang the club, this is what I do, to say, I know this to be true. Alex Keith is in danger of missing. I'm going to do it. Would you like to put context around it? If not, otherwise consider this a courtesy to let you know I'm going to do it. Now, they didn't. I went with it. It was right. He didn't play. Now, do you do that with every story when you know it to be 120% accurate? Probably not. Journos have been burnt in the past as well by notifying clubs in good faith, and then the club puts out a statement and controls the narrative from there, and the journo thinks, well, why do I bother trying to do the right thing when I just get burnt? So it's a different situation for different stories for different people. From my understanding, the AFL were deeply unhappy with the events of last night, and the press conferences. Could be a suspended sanction, could be a suspended fine, could be a fine in itself, or could just be merely a warning. But I think the AFL control it, and the Western Bulldogs will take their cues from that.
You're right. It's the AFL's jurisdiction to come in and step. If I was the Bulldogs, I'd be sorting it out well before I got punished.